Hey guys, welcome to today's video where we are resetting for 2026. In case you missed my self-reset video that I posted during Vlogmas, I will link that down below. I go through all the things you can do in one day to feel reset for the new year. I said it in the soft reset, I'm saying it now. Rebranding your life for the new year, it's out, it's over, we're done with it. I feel like social media puts such a pressure on changing everything about our lives come January 1st. New year, new me, we're rebranding, we're becoming a whole new person. I don't know when that started, we're done with it. Putting that aside, I know that the new year still brings an excitement and motivation for many people. To me, the new year is meant to continue the things that are going well from the previous year and looking at the things that didn't go as well and implementing new habits and new goals to hopefully change that. So that's what we're going to be tackling in today's video. Let's get started. I feel like I really nailed down a morning routine for myself. It isn't about waking up at a specific time. It was more about when I wake up, these are the things I want to make sure I do before I do something for someone else, before I go to work, before I meet up with my friends. And I feel like throughout the year, I really prioritize that, and whether or not it need to be a slow morning or a productive morning, I just had these consistent parts of my morning to start my day, and it made me a lot better throughout the rest of the day. I would love to make a morning routine video, especially for a bookish girl, so look forward to that. Something that we're going to do now, which I've talked about a lot through the new year, is journaling. You guys saw me fall in and out of it throughout the year, but it is something that I have kept up with generally throughout the year, so let's do a bit of journaling. It isn't about doing it at a specific time. Sometimes my mornings are busy. Sometimes I'm really tired in the evening. I think I want to be better about if I have a moment in my day, just do it then. It doesn't have to be a full monologue. It can just be a quick prompt. It can just be a few lines, but I think that is where I was most successful rather than saying, I need a journal every single morning or I need a journal right before I go to bed. Just finding a little bit of time in your day to write down some thoughts, to write a little prompt for yourself. I know I've talked about this before, but I want to make journaling a habit so that on the hard days, it's where I turn to first. It's not about making it a whole thing every single day. It's just about having it be there on the days that I really need it. I just spent less than 5 minutes writing down a few sentences, some thoughts, and I feel good. Something I finally figured out in 2025 is how to plan for the week ahead, and I'm definitely continuing it for the new year. I use the app Noto, which is pretty much a prettier version of the Apple Notes app, and I've just set it up for the days of the week, and it allows me to put the smallest or biggest tasks, the meetings. I basically use my Google Calendar to help me create this list and thinking about both work and personal. Sometimes I like having my meetings and things on my Google Calendar and maybe big picture stuff, but when it comes to like the nitty-gritty details of tasks that I want to do, I like just having that on a notes app. I typically like doing this on a Sunday. It's currently Monday filming this, and I didn't do it yesterday, so let's go ahead and do it now. So this is how I have it set up. I like that it's colorful for the headers and then just a basic checklist. Some of these stay on every single week, like weekly meetings, and then some things pop up. So let's go through my calendar and let's fill out the rest of this that isn't already done. So today's Monday, like I said, I put that I wanted to start my 2026 reset. I actually don't have this meeting, so I'm gonna go ahead and cross it out. It's just because of the holidays, but I'm gonna keep it there because I don't want to fully delete it. We'll be using it next week. No meetings tomorrow, but I do have a contract that I'm working in the afternoon. I'm also working that on Wednesday. It's New Year's Eve. I want to make a little like Instagram post of like kind of what I read in a week sort of thing. So I want to make sure I'm keeping track of what I'm reading those days. Thursday is New Year's Day. So New Year's Day, and then I'm just going to say like off work. We do have a book club if I want to go to that. Book club. I kind of put like at 5:30. Really doesn't matter when we show up, but maybe like firework emoji? Fireworks. Cute. And just again, looking at my calendar, I have nothing. I know I'm working the afternoon shift. I basically asked my coworker to have today off, and then I was taking his Friday. So we're doing that, and then I would hope to start a new video on Friday, finding my first 5-star of 2026. That's it that I see associated with this. Now, when it comes to personal, I know that I want to be posting my 24-hour readathon on Friday. So I need to make sure I finish editing 24-hour readathon. I like adding the little emojis because it's just kind of fun. So we've started this, I think on Saturday. We are meeting up with my friends to basically start our 2026 junk journal. So we haven't set a time for that, so I'll add a time once I know that. And then on Sunday, is there anything in my actual calendar? Okay, no, everything else is like already like in motion. Like I'm gonna be doing the reading vlog and continuing this and wrapping this up over the weekend. So sometimes it's like a lot of things. Sometimes it's just like the basics with a couple little extras. So this is kind of how I just do it, and it makes me just have to think about the upcoming week and make sure I'm not missing any meetings or important deadlines or just like goals I have. It's like, well, if I want to post that for Friday, like, girl, you gotta make sure you edit it. And I like know that ahead. So as I have time throughout the week, then like I can just do little bits of editing or like knock it out all in one day if I have like no work that day kind of thing. So this makes me feel good. I need to go ahead and drag this to the weekend. I was gonna maybe start it today, but I'm finishing up the readathon as well. So okay. One of the last habits I have that I definitely need to continue in the new year is just getting ready for the day. I work from home a majority of the time. I basically have the flexibility to go in the office or work from home as much as I need or want. And with Milo, it's just a lot easier to work from home a majority of the time. So that means I go through these pockets of time where I am consistently getting ready in the morning. Doesn't mean like full face of makeup and a nice outfit with jeans, but it just means I am putting in the effort to brush my hair, do my skincare, maybe add a little bit of concealer and blush. Or I go through pockets of time where I just want to like rot in my PJs all day, working from the couch on my laptop. And we all need balance. It's good to have those days. I just want to make sure I'm limiting those days because I find myself consistently doing better when I get up and get ready for the day. There's a variety of getting ready, but just doing the bare minimum, I know I've already set the tone for the day. So much better. I love a good Notion tour, so we're gonna go through mine. I'm gonna show you all the pages that I have, and it's gonna segue into some of the goals that I have for the new year. So this is my homepage. I did update some of this during the fall time, and I really liked it. I liked the kind of just darker brown colors, and so I went ahead and put that through the rest of the Notion that I hadn't updated. And so this is what we're starting with. We'll see if I change it throughout the year, but I just went ahead and updated my profile picture, the banner, which I just used Canva to do this. And then I updated, I think, this quote. I put a lot can happen in a year. I love that because I just think about from year to year what I think I want to happen and what actually happens. And I'm like, well, thank God that whatever I wanted to happen didn't actually happen because I have a great life now and I'm so happy about it. And it's just thinking about how the beginning of a year to the end of the year, there's so much that can happen and be added to your life. It's the same calendar and clock. I just updated the colors. Honestly, I don't necessarily need it, but it's cute, it fits. And then I updated this section. This used to be something that I made monthly goals, and to some level, I liked it. I just didn't keep up with it. And I just don't think that's something that really works for me. So these are kind of intentions I have for the new year. I want to prioritize saving money. I just want to be mindful of all of the purchases that I'm making because I feel like towards the end of the year, I was making a lot of purchases I just didn't need to make. I want to make my space a home. I really started to do this in December, and I just want to keep up with it and finding those small pieces, the bigger pieces that just make me feel cozy and welcome at all times. And then choosing creativity over media. I have so many fun hobbies, and I think that I go through waves of prioritizing those artsy crafts or just anything outside of social media, and I just want to make sure that I am always choosing that over being on my phone or over, just sitting there and watching YouTube for hours. Like, we all need those rest days, but I don't want to consistently put that over creativity. And then I just want to spend time journaling. It's just something I want to prioritize in the new year. And then I added this to remind myself, start the year slowly, set your goals and priorities, because everyone assumes that you need to change your life come January 1st, but the wintertime is just not meant for that. I know I touched on that earlier in the video, but just to remind myself as well, like, you don't need to hit the ground running January 1st when it is 30 degrees outside. No one needs that. This is a section that I would update monthly. I would have my year vision board and then an updated monthly vision board. I think I'm just going to keep this that's my thing right now. We'll see if that changes. But I just added my vision board along with the new year, just kind of showing that it's 2026. I think that you can see this, so if not, I'll put it up on the screen, but this is a zoomed in version of my vision board, just prioritizing my friendships, journaling, baking, making my space a home, and just kind of prioritizing myself along with opening myself up to relationships and putting myself in more positions to meet more people. Because I'm gonna be honest, as much as like I have loved the idea of like a boyfriend in the past, I don't know if I was ever really ready for that. Like since my last relationship ended, it was like, oh, like it's nice having someone, but it never felt like something I was necessarily ready for. I was kind of looking when I was out and about, but not really. And I feel like I feel a lot more secure in myself and where I'm at, that I feel like a bit more open to it this year. I don't think these middle parts are things that I changed because I did add them kind of late into the year. We have self-love is the highest frequency that attracts everything you desire. True. RuPaul said, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you gonna love somebody else? And that is something I live by every day. And then to all the girls who are told they are too sensitive in the world that desperately needs to be sensed, feeling deeply is not your curse, it is your gift. I am such an empath. I feel everything hard. And it can be the worst at times, it can be the best at times, and it's just kind of embracing that part of myself and understanding that's just who I am. This is something I slightly adjusted. I used to have the days of the week and then the date, and I would update that date part weekly. Why? Because the whole point of this was to just make myself track things, but not get down on myself if I either like didn't track things for a week or I just really sucked at drinking water or reading or journaling in a week, and I got to see that. And then like if I was tracking it for a month or for a year, I could get discouraged by seeing so many blank spaces. So I just went ahead and removed the dates because it really doesn't matter. I just want to be tracking this stuff weekly. I didn't change this. I feel like these are still good things to track, and this is the whole monthly goals thing. I don't know if I'm really gonna use it. We'll see. I may just add to this. It is what it is. I like it. I can just check it, and then at the beginning of the week I can just reset it. Adding a little section for what this week, if there's just anything out of the norm that I want to keep track of. I talked about how I use my Noto like app thing, so I don't really use this section a whole lot, but I could, so it's there. And then this is my calendar. So this is something I haven't really filled out yet, but it's what I'm going to be using for social media. So I have that stuff like listed elsewhere, or I have it in my Google Calendar, but I want to go ahead and make sure it's in here as well, because this allows me to set up the status and progression of a project I'm doing or a video I'm doing. And so we'll get into that one in another page, but this is what that calendar will reflect. And that's it for my homepage. Moving on, we'll go to goals later. It's just my 2026 reads. I love this. I got this template from Allie. I'll put up her thing if you don't know who I'm talking about, but a while ago she did like a Notion video, like 2 years ago, who knows. But she had this template for free and I just adopted it and I've loved it. So you can just add all of the things, and like I have my ratings, but I love it because I can add my 0.25, 0.5, and 0.75, or if it's not applicable, I don't really rate nonfiction, or if I DNF'd it. I have a bunch of genres here, and then I can add the status if I want, if I'm currently reading it, if I DNF'd it, if I finished it, whatever it may be. And then we do have the ability to add author, cover, the type. I love it because I can go through and see what I read from my physical TBR, or if it was an ARC, or if I got it from the library. I just like kind of looking at that from a glimpse. If you have the cover in here, like that's what shows, but then you can also go through log and it just shows you like this, which was really cool to see at the end of the year. Physical TBR. I think I may have a couple books just that I got in the last week that I need to add, but these are all the books that I have out right now. I know I put some boxes away when I was putting up my tree, and I'm sure that had books in there that I haven't read, but they're not going to be at the front of my brain if they're not out here. I prioritize books I haven't read and that I want to be reading soon. And they're not like a special circumstance kind of book, like, oh, I haven't read A Christmas Carol. They're not here. So you can see that I have a total count of 62, which I feel really good about. I have been prioritizing not just like buying books to buy books, and prioritizing reading my physical TBR. So I'm proud of this number, honestly, because I feel like it used to be really bad. and we're just gonna work to continue to lessen that. I have a section of books bought. I do want to keep up with that this year. I didn't last year, but I also wasn't buying books a ton, and I just want to know how much I'm buying in a year. Now, I am keeping up with the same book buying ban plan as I did for 2025, which is I can only use gift cards and my like credit card rewards for this. So we're gonna touch on that also a little bit later, but I do like that. I feel like it makes me more disciplined with the buying I'm doing. So I feel good about it, and I'm curious to see all the books I buy in 2026. So this is a bigger look at the calendar, right? So this is where I would go in and I could add in like all my projects. So this is something I guess I had for the beginning of the year. I didn't keep up with it, as you can see, because I was posting throughout the year and none of this was a thing. Just looking at like status. So this is something I'm gonna have to go through and kind of wipe. I didn't even realize that these were here. I do like the premise of this, and I think resetting this and using it consistently is gonna be really helpful to me. So content planning overview. This is where I can just write an idea that I have and go from there. Like it just allows me to see a glimpse. We can just look at January. This is me just like scribbling down things that I think could be good to post. Maybe this is what I'll stick to. Maybe I will post none of it. No idea. But I like knowing what each month could be, because maybe February, it could be reading romances for a week because of Valentine's Day or whatever it may be. Like that just allows me to kind of at a glimpse see it. And then content strategies. I'm not going to click on it because I don't know everything that's in there, but it's something I just want to be more aware of in the new year, because if I'm already wanting to film a certain video, then I can see when those topics are at like their peak or when they're about to be at their peak, and I can know when to post it to reach the most audience, right? Like I want to grow my channel. I want people to see the video and the art that I'm making. So I just want to be more aware and thinking about the content if I'm already making the video. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think there are trends that I could totally want to make a video on, and then there's trends that I see that I'm like, that doesn't really fit my channel, or I don't like doing that, so I'm not gonna do it. But for the videos I love making, just thinking about it a bit more. Task list. Honestly, not going to use this the whole time. I think I might use this if it's something social media specific related, but otherwise my Noto app gets the job done, but I have it here in case I want to use it. This is something I used throughout the year that was just like in-depth planning on like getting my car or when I was moving. So this is just here for me to scribble stuff down. In this case, I think it's going to be all my goals. And like meetings I have pertaining to those goals. I think this will be a good spot for me to just like write stuff down in the moment, and then I can go back and like move it to different places. Here's the thing. The only real goal I have for the new year is to just know the ins and outs of my finances. I think that is something I really started to want to know and understand towards the end of the year. When I started Atomic Habits, I'm reading that very slowly and just taking in what I can when I can. And something I feel like I easily associated it to was money and how I was spending and how I was saving and being disciplined with it. Towards the end of the year, I was having more financial meetings of understanding like where my 401k was at and like if I'm still putting money into the right places. My company has stock options, so understanding what are stock options and just like knowing my place in it and what I can do and like what should be my game plan over the next few years. The last thing was gonna be budgeting, which I know it sounds like kind of silly because you think that'd be first, but for me, the 401k and the stock options, I was just like gaining education and seeing if I needed to adjust things. Those were like easy segues. Budgeting was the last thing, and that's what I'm actually starting the new year with. To be so transparent, I don't know what's left over after these are the bills you have. Not, oh, how much you're thinking about spending on groceries. No, but it's like all your basic bills that you have to pay every single month. What is that estimated money left over? Because I think I just spent money, not just to spend it, but I just like didn't spend it intentionally, understanding where every bit went. I have a credit card. A lot of times I just like put everything on the credit card and then I would pay it when I got my paycheck. So it's just like so that I could gain points and so I could get those rewards and it makes sense. But because of that way of spending, I didn't really understand what I had left over. So I didn't understand, and I still don't because I haven't gone through it yet, but I don't understand the money I have to put towards different things. So I want to be consistent with checking my finances weekly. That is something I go in and out of doing. I usually fall off of it when I'm stressed and think I'm falling behind, but that's exactly when you need to do it to see if you're doing anything poorly. And if you have bad spending habits, you're at least getting it within a week versus a month or two. Establish a savings routine. This is where it comes to just understanding the money I have left over and where it can go. Knowing what I'm spending each month, it's part of the budgeting, but also just like if I find myself consistently needing to spend X amount on more of a necessity thing, like health stuff or groceries, like just in this economy, I can have a goal, but if that's consistently not working, then I can adjust that. So I just need to understand what I'm spending each month, understanding all my debt, just like credit cards, like not crazy, but I need to understand if I'm actually paying everything off or what's left over, and like, am I just not allocating my money right? My car payments, student loans, like just understanding anywhere I technically have debt. Spending no money on books, that's the whole like, I can only use gift cards and my credit card rewards. Money a month per savings. I mean, the established savings routine, same premise, but it's just like, I need to set a goal that I know I can put X amount into my savings every single month. I put $50 a month on cafes. I don't go to coffee shops all that often anymore, but if I get into a month where all of a sudden I'm doing it a lot, like I just want to check myself. So I just want to make sure I do have some type of limitation there. And then lastly, I put $300 a month on groceries. I had it at $400, which is a part of my goals. Is I want to be more intentional with what I'm eating, not like health, I mean, sure, health-wise, but more like, am I meal planning? Do I know what I'm gonna eat, what I have throughout a week? I am generally okay about it, but I think this is where I could like save money and understand the money I'm spending. And then something I don't have on here, because it's not necessarily something I'm tracking, but these are like habits I want to implement, are reset days. I want the deeper reset days monthly, just once a month, along with weekly reset days, which I would love to do videos on these as well. I just love a good reset video where you're like, you're cleaning, you're updating your Notion, you're going through your finances, like just everything that the normal person does, but you just get to like have someone to do it with by watching their video. I love it. And then I put on here intentional phone use. That's the same thing as like creativity over media. It's just like understanding how I'm using my phone and when I'm just using it too much. So I don't know how these are going to change, but that's kind of just what I have. Some of these, it's just like you put an X. Some of this is, so if I spent in this week, I spent $6, I don't know. Like basically I can do this and it adds up, and then I would put from last year, I would put these in green or red if I like met that goal for the month. So that's my Notion and the goals that I have for 2026. I feel like I can attain these with discipline, motivation, consistency. I know that I can attain all of this and just gain a better understanding of aspects of my life that I definitely neglected in 2025. I can officially say Happy New Year. Today is January 1st, and I want to go over all things bookish. In 2025, I set my Goodreads goal at 75, which I felt so confident about until I got Milo in August. He was 3 months old at that point, and he completely uprooted my life and every routine that I had, and it took a few months to kind of establish a reading routine again. I mean, granted, a lot of my time and focus went to him, so about halfway through the year, I wasn't sure if I was going to hit 75. And then as the end of the year was approaching, and as Milo grew up, he's now approaching 8 months, which is crazy. I found myself having a lot more time for my hobbies and finding new ways to keep up with them. And so that got me to the point that I was at like 96, 97 books with a few days left in the year. And that's when I did the readathon to push me to 100. I felt so good. And so finishing at 101, I'm proud of that. Goodreads has estimated the number of pages to be 45,069. That is insane. That's a lot of pages. And I know it's like an estimate, so it could be a little more, could be a little less. I have no idea. I do want to be better about editing the edition that I'm reading to best line up with what I have. I feel like sometimes it doesn't have what I have, but I feel like I can at least do it so I have a better estimate at the end of the year. The longest book I read was Kingdom of Ash, which was a crazy journey. I am so glad that I read Throne of Glass and I finished it, and just like that rewarding feeling of finishing such a beloved series. I really love documenting that journey as well. I am definitely wanting to do a reread. It says my average book length was 446 pages. I'm really happy about that because I felt like I was really targeting books I wanted to read and not necessarily like what's shorter books I can read to read more in a year. I feel like I was definitely trying my best to choose quality over quantity, and I'm very proud of that. It says my most shelved book was Iron Flame, by no surprise, but my least shelved was Harbingers, which was an audiobook I listened to about the January 6th in Charlottesville. I think it was like a riot and what they reveal about rising threats to American democracy. You guys, you should absolutely be reading that, or at least listen to it like I did. It was really good. My average rating was 4.0. I am very happy about that because that shows me that I was reading a lot of books that I really enjoyed. I don't rate something 5 stars, even if it's a 4.75, I still keep it at 4. It's just the way my brain works. So this rating on average is probably like even higher. I had so many books that I fell in love with this year. I had my first 6-star ever, The Favorites. Still my only 6-star. I don't know if anything will compare to what I felt reading that and like my life after. It completely altered my brain chemistry. I had so many 5 stars and 4+ stars. So I am making a Instagram post kind of targeting all of that and organizing all of that. So if you want true recommendations, I would go over to my Instagram and look at that post. I'm not really making a video about that this year. Now to set up my 2026 challenge, I just love doing that. I find it to be so fun. I'm gonna once again set it to 75. I don't want to feel like I have to reach 100. I would love 75 to be it because I feel like that is attainable for how much I want to be reading. If I'm not reaching 75 at this point, to me, that's likely because I'm on social media a lot more than I should be, because I also listen to audiobooks. I'm not only focusing on time that I can just sit and read physically. So to me, there's no reason I shouldn't hit 75. I'm actually starting a reading vlog today, so we're gonna get going on this ASAP. If you watched my reset last year, I also had a reading journal. I really fell off of it early in the year, probably by like April or May, and I just never picked it back up, and I never really wanted to. I don't know what I want to do this year. I think I'm gonna focus on Notion and documenting it that way and looking more in depth that way rather than having another journal to complete. I already have my junk journal, which I love so much, and it's already at times hard to keep up with it, so I'd much rather have the single journal and then everything else bookish is just digital. I feel like it's not a reset if we don't do any cleaning, so I have some dishes to do, I have some laundry to put away. Let's get into it. The closet's pretty tidied up, but there's a couple things on the ground, so I'm gonna hang those up and put away my clean laundry. Possibly the most exciting part of this video, I'm about to head to a coffee shop to meet up with a couple of my friends to start our 2026 junk journal. So let's pack up my bag and head out. I'm back home and I'm obsessed with this junk journal cover. It turned out so good. It turned out better than honestly I could have thought. So I'm very happy with this. And I'm thinking on this page, last year I did like a letter to myself, which I still have to open. But this year I'm thinking maybe I still do like the letter thing, but it's more writing down some like manifestations I have, not necessarily goals and not like the habits, but more like dreams I would love for 2026. That's just like, if I get them, amazing. If I don't, literally who cares? So maybe that's like an alternative I can do rather than like writing myself a letter, because I just don't know how much I care to do that this year. And I love, last year we did something similar where we went to that coffee shop in like the first week of January. Actually, it might have been, maybe it was January 1st or like December 31st. But point is, we did it where we were just like maybe doing a little bit of journaling or coloring. It was very much like an artsy craft girl hangout at the coffee shop. But this year I was like, we should go back there and do our like junk journal cover pages together. I'm so glad we did that. I'm hoping we can do that like next year, the year after that. I love it because like when you see them all together, You see how there's definitely similarities with our styles, but yet we all have a very like unique take on doing different spreads, or even like the same spreads, right? Like we're all doing a cover page, yet they are unique to us, and I just love that. I love it so much. I can't believe that this is the end of the video. I had such a good time resetting with you guys. I hope everyone watching this is able to take away that there is no right or wrong way to do a reset. There is no right or wrong time to do a reset. I feel like every year the reset for someone is gonna change a little bit, so you just kind of figure out what works for you as you continue to grow as a human. I also hope everyone watching this was able to take away at least one thing. My question of the day is, what is a necessity for you in a reset? I think for me, it's everything to do with my Notion. I feel so good when I revamp it and give it a new header. I reset my tables. I do all of it to just make me feel fresh and like ready to go for a new year. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.